Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today is the latest installment in the continuing program about the Future Kings. For those of you who don't know, the Future Kings are a STEM workplace program where we are teaching young boys in grades 6 to 12 how to prepare for post-high school life. We are engineering great futures and changing communities through STEM education. Today we have three of our participants with us, and we're going to be talking about a recent field trip that we took to the National Museum of African American History. But I'd like to start by having each of them introduce themselves. So, Lewis, please tell us your full name, what school you go to, which of our 4 concentrations you're in, and how long you've been in Future Kings.
My name is Lewis, and I go to Hampton Middle School. I'm in 6th grade, and my concentration is cybersecurity, and I have been in Future Kings for 1 year.
Okay. And now, Derek?
My name is Derek King. I'm in 7th grade. I go to Fredericksburg Academy. I'm in the custom engineering program, and I've been in Future Kings for 2 years.
And Jason?
My name is Jason White. I'm in the 9th grade at Forest Park High School, and the concentration I'm in is computer game design.
Okay, and we're going to talk a little bit about each of your concentrations for a minute. Lewis, I heard you say that you're in cybersecurity. Can you tell me something about cybersecurity that you've learned just since you started, especially something that is different than what you expected?
Well, I have learned about, how we work networking and how we, open computers and stuff, and it's different how I learned different methods than I already knew, and so it's just a great opportunity to be there.
And one of the benefits, I understand, is Mr. Reeves has given you a laptop to work with?
Yes, he has given us a laptop that we have to now fix and repair, and then we also get to keep it. So.
And that's because in order to be a good cybersecurity engineer, you have to know both how the software and hardware work together.
Right.
So as part of your training, you start with really understanding the mechanics of how a computer and how a network work. Correct?
Correct.
Okay. And what's the most difficult challenge you faced so far in your cybersecurity training?
Well, we have just got the computers, and we have just installed Windows, and it was kind of difficult installing Windows because we had to update the BIOS, and that was kind of difficult for me.
Okay. Now, Derek, I heard you say that you're in the custom engineering. And I know that in custom engineering, you guys have been working on 2 different projects. One is the racing car. The other is some of the 3D printing. Which one of those do you enjoy the most?
I prefer the race car.
The race car?
Yeah.
And what about the race car did you like a lot?
We got to test it around the campus, and then if it broke, we had to fix it ourselves.
And when you first got the race car, when that kit first came, did the race car work right away, or did you have to do some special things?
We had to watch a video on how to put the car together, and eventually over time it started to work.
So you watched the videos, like an instructional video.
Yes.
And then there were some problems with it. And part of your requirement was also to fix those problems.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. You remember one of the problems that you had to fix?
One of the problems was the battery didn't work the first time at all. And so we were all super confused. And then we realized that the battery was dead, so we had to charge it.
There must be something, right? The very first time out, you're expecting everything to work, and the first thing you encounter is a dead battery.
Yeah.
All right. Jason, I heard you say that you're in the computer game design.
Yes.
Tell me something about computer game design.
Right now, we're in the process of making a game. It's a third-person shooter where we put enemies into the game. And on this past Saturday, we added some more guns. We added a rocket launcher into it, and sometimes you have most of the time you have to pay really close attention, or else you'll miss how to do something, and you'll get caught behind.
And in the computer game design, there are different aspects of this that you're going through. I know there's artwork where you have to create your own artwork. There is importing certain things, and there's also some coding that you have to do. Have you done very much software coding as part of your game?
Each week we do a little bit of coding, but the instructor tells us all of it, and then sometimes he'll try to give us a code, and we have to type it in.
And you're using a game development tool called what?
It's called Unity.
Unity. And my understanding is that Unity is a professional grade development package, and it is one of the leading development tools for professionals. Is that what your understanding is as well?
Yes, sir.
And your instructors will help you master that by giving you different components that you have to put together. Sometimes the coding, sometimes the artwork, and once you put them together, then you have to customize it for that game. Is that how it works?
Yes.
And how long do you think it takes to really get used to that? That sounds pretty simple. Is it more difficult than that?
Sometimes, but usually it's pretty simple if you pay attention.
If you pay attention. But if you don't pay attention, it's pretty hard.
Yes, it's really easy to get lost.
Okay. Also in Future Kings, we have different speakers that come in. The speaker we had last week was Mr. Lindsay. Any of you remember anything special about something that he said? Did he discuss anything about college?
How the first 2 years of college, he failed all of his classes, and so he wanted to go into a HBCU college. But the thing is, his grade average was a 1.5. Mm-hmm. He had to get it to a 2 or 2.5, and then he got it up, and then he got into the HBCU that he wanted.
When he told you that, he was making a point about a mistake that he made, correct?
Yeah. Yes.
He was saying that when he first went to college, he didn't concentrate on his studies, and that first year he got a 1.5 and almost flunked out. Is that what you guys heard?
Yes.
And do you remember what his point was about what he did from that point on? Jason, do you remember what his point was?
What happened was he got the 1.5 because he got a different job that paid more, so he was putting his job over his studies, so he had a 1.5, and then at the end of that year he had to have a 2.5, so he had to quit the job and focus completely on his studies.
He made a big point of that, didn't he?
Yes.
All right, so those kind of things that we'll do in Future Kings, correct?
Yes.
And this museum trip that we went on was one of those special things that we did. Louis, can you tell me what the most impressive part of the museum exhibits was for you?
I was really interested in the slave ships to see how they had Africans chained up and how they treated us and how they just had us at the bottom of the ships. And I really took that in and was proud in knowing that my ancestors have fought for me. And I'm going to school every day now knowing that I have ancestors that have fought for equal rights for me.
That's outstanding. That's motivating you. Do you remember any statistics that they gave you about how many of the slaves that left Africa actually made it all the way to America?
It was about two out of the whole section, so like 2/5, if you were to say it that way.
Okay. And for you, Derek, what was the most impressive part of the museum for you?
Probably the Emmett Till.
The Emmett Till?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell me something about the Emmett Till.
They brought his real life casket into the memorial, and that just had me shocked, because like I just thought that they wouldn't allow them to bring the actual casket of Emmett Till inside a museum.
So they brought his actual casket
Yes.
there, and his body was there as well?
No.
Okay, so you just saw the casket?
Yes.
Did you see any type of picture or anything about his face and what his face looked like?
They had
after
a
they killed him?
bunch of pictures on the wall, and a bunch of quotes that, like his mom said.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed a video of his mother describing what he looked like. And then, like, in the video, they showed a picture of his face that was all, like, messed up.
And Jason, did you see the Emmett Till display as well?
Yes.
Okay. Was there anything there that was really, that really moved you?
When I saw the picture of his face after he had been killed, I didn't really get a good look at it, because I only looked at it for like a second, then I had to look away, because I was like in shock.
And what was it? Why did his mother decide not to close his casket? There was a reason why she wanted the casket to be open. And do you guys remember what that reason was?
She wanted her son's face to be known and seen to the world about what these horrible people did to her son.
She wanted his life. She didn't want to cover up what happened at all. She wanted the world to see.
She wasn't ashamed, and like she just wanted to see that this can happen to anybody.
And do any of you remember why he was killed?
They said that he catcalled a white woman.
Okay.
And then the woman went to her husband, I think, and they had him killed, and they dumped his body in the river.
And so for such a small thing, so that was part of our history, that we went through a long period where we were treated brutally for very, very small offenses. Okay. That's something else at the museum. I know that you mentioned slaves, and we just talked about Emmett Till. Was there anything else that was really noteworthy?
I really liked the floor where they had all of the music, and I liked I liked the part where they had a board where you could pick different eras of music and different genres of music.
Uh-huh.
So you could see what that music sounded like.
Okay, good. Did either one of you guys see the?
I also liked the part where it started showing the sports and how they had the Black Power Fist, and where they showed where we said that nothing can hold us back, and we started moving on, and we created all these sports, and we really came back.
And do you remember who they had there who had the Black Power Fist?
No.
Was it John Carlos?
I think, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. And in the music place, they had different people. Was Michael Jackson one of the people that they had there?
Michael Jackson, Aretha Franklin, and then a bunch of other musicians.
Okay. And for the sports, did they have Jackie Robinson there?
Definitely.
You remember any other sports?
LeBron James.
Michael Jordan? Okay.
LeBron
Was
James.
Joe Louis there?
I think so.
You think maybe he was? Okay. And there were some other really great exhibits. Did any of you sit at the lunch counter?
Yes.
Where they were sitting in during the civil rights era?
Yes.
Yes.
Tell me something about that exhibit.
they show like pictures of these 4 black men that were like have had had pictures of them with like food on them because they show because they sat at the wrong like table and then they sat at the white only table instead of the black table.
So we had young people who sat at a certain table that was a white only table, and then they got beaten for that. Who beat them?
Well, a bunch of white people.
Was it just white customers, or was it the police?
It was like white customers.
And did police come at all?
Yeah.
And what happened when the police came?
They didn't stop it at all, which to me, I don't think that's basically fair. So
that's a lot different than what we think happens now, isn't it?
Yeah.
You think any of that happens even now?
In some places, yeah.
In some places it might? Okay. Do you guys want to go again?
Yes.
Did you get to see everything that you wanted to see that day?
Yeah.
No? Tell me something, Lewis, that you would like to see.
I wanted to view the exhibit of Emmett Till because I didn't get a chance to see that part of history. And I know it was a really big, event, so I didn't get to see it.
Okay. And, Jason, something you like to see?
We didn't get to see about the top 4 floors, so we didn't get to see any of the sports stuff or anything like that.
Okay. Did any of you get to go into the Oprah Winfrey Theater?
No.
No, you didn't get to go into that?
I did.
You did?
Yes.
What do you like about Oprah Winfrey?
I just think it's really cool how she, created her own name and, did pretty much everything, not completely by herself, but almost by herself.
She didn't come from a rich family, did she?
No.
She came from a pretty poor family, wasn't it?
Yes.
Okay. Any guys remember any other parts of her story?
No. That was towards the end of our trip, so we had to go through it kind of quickly.
Yeah. But they had different parts of her story, like when she first started as a weather person on the TV station. Did you get to see that?
No.
Okay. Yes, that is a problem, isn't it? Because there's so many people there. There's so much to see. It's hard to see it in just one day. Okay, so that's why you might want to go back. But did the museum inspire you to learn more about our history?
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Did you see any parallels between our history then and what's going on in current events right now?
Yes.
What's one of the parallels that you could see, Lois, between then and now?
I could see how then when people protested and boycotted, how it affected nowadays and how it stopped from white only and black only, or, just the discrimination right there and segregation. So I just really can notice the parallel differences back then and now.
Derek, how about you?
Back then, black people did something important, they would never mention it in history or on the news at all. And then today, when a black person does something out of the blue or extraordinary, it gets mentioned.
Okay. Jason, how about you?
I think it's really important because I think without Martin Luther King and people that started the peaceful protests, a lot of our protests now would turn into riots.
And what do you guys think about this? You can see from the struggles that were documented in the museum that our people went through lots of difficult times in order to make it better for the generations coming on. how do you feel about some of the people in your classes now who are not taking advantage of that sacrifice that was made for them? Do you think they even know or care what people went through in order for them to be able to come to a school like this? Lewis?
I really think that they should go to the museum and see for themselves and really just be thankful that they're allowed to be at a school that's not segregated and, take advantage of what they have gotten and how people have, fought for them just to be there and really show teachers they appreciate that they're there.
And Derek, do you have anything like that for you?
Some of the people at my school are like very appreciative that they can be there, and like some other people just don't get the fact that like African Americans went through a bunch of like violent acts, and they just don't appreciate it.
And Jason, what do you think about all this?
I think, like as I went through elementary school, middle school, high school, I think it got like a little bit better, but there's still people that don't take advantage of their opportunities in school and how they're able to learn.
But for each of you three, understanding better now what people went through in order to help you is something that's inspirational in a certain way.
Yes.
And what would you like to say to people who are not doing their best?
People should really be thankful that they're getting all the good education that they can, and showing teachers that they have good behavior, and showing teachers that the decision that they made was right to unsegregate different races and just overall take advantage of it and be thankful that they're getting the high quality education that they can.
Now, Future Kings is considered a STEM program. That's science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Did any of you go to some of the either science or technology exhibits that were there?
I think I went to this exhibit that they had this place where you could sit down and you would be driving a car and you had to choose where you wanted to go, because if you went to the wrong place, like a white only gas station, they would throw you back out and you would have to go the other way. So
did you get to see any exhibits where they had African Americans who had made scientific breakthroughs there?
No.
Okay. So were you aware that there were people like Charles Drew and Benjamin Banneker and some others that were displayed there?
No.
Okay. But you do understand that there was that kind of exhibit there. Maybe the next time we go, you might look for some of those because they're directly tied to us. Okay?
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to thank you guys for coming on today. And it was, I think they all enjoyed the African American Museum trip.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And I think that all of you are going to look into increasing your abilities in cybersecurity, engineering, and computer game design, and that the museum trip might be one of those things that helps to let you know that you can go as far as you want to. So, ladies and gentlemen, we thank you for being with us tonight. This was the latest episode in our Future Kings continuing program, and we hope to see you next time.